So I recently released a video talking about how I started my 3D journey and showing you some of the things I released during that journey. What I actually didn't talk about was how that journey ended. So I'll be going into that now. In my first year of university, I was a student on campus. I was staying in one of the hostels on campus. And a little bit of background, or a little bit of information. When you are rendering out a scene in Blender or any 3D software for that matter, it can take a very long time depending on the hardware you're using. And back then I had a slightly above average laptop, so it would take a very long time just to render out a single picture or a single frame. And I was rendering out a full animation. I wanted to render out a full animation. So I needed to keep my laptop running consistently for a long period of time for the whole animation to finish rendering out. So I was in the comfort of my room. I was in the safety of my room. I figured, you know what? I can start out this rendering for this animation I'm working on, and I can just leave the laptop on overnight, wake up, and then check on the progress. So that's exactly what I did. I started the rendering process for the animation. I left the laptop on overnight. I put it under my bed so that it wouldn't be out in the open and it wouldn't be obvious to people who walk in and out of the room. Because I was sharing the room with two other people. We were three in the room. And that's what I did. I went to bed. I woke up the next morning and surprise, surprise, the laptop was gone, completely gone. It was gone, the charger. So I connected it to the charger, left it under the bed overnight. Woke up, everything was gone. The laptop was gone, the charger was gone, everything. And that was basically what killed my enthusiasm for 3D animation, 3D modeling, everything. Because prior to that happening, I was already losing interest in 3D. My enthusiasm was basically dangling off the edge of a cliff. So the moment that happened, it just killed everything because I didn't even have a laptop to practice anymore. I didn't even have a laptop to use to watch the YouTube tutorials I was using to learn, practice the modeling in Blender, try out the rendering and everything. I didn't have a laptop to do any of that. So I pretty much just lost all interest at that point, and that was it. That was basically how that just killed. That was basically just the end of my 3D journey. That was the last thing that ever happened in my whole 3D journey. But who knows? I might revisit 3D animation or maybe even game development because I actually started learning game development, but I never finished learning it because of what happened. So maybe I might continue from where I left off, who knows.